So welcome to the talk Inclusive Adventure, experimenting with accessibility in Flutter games. So who am I? I am Manuela. I am from Berlin. I'm co-organizing Flutter Berlin with some very, very nice people, and you can find me on X or on LinkedIn, so feel free to connect. So first of all, who in this room plays video games? Okay, so many. So I have to out myself. I'm actually not really a gamer, but I do like accessibility. So I had to research a bit. So first of all, let's start with the definition of a video game. What is a video game? So a video game is an electronic game involving interaction with a device to generate visual feedback on a display, often with audio-visual elements or haptic feedback. And that brings us to our challenge, because disabilities include sensory difficulties, and a game is basically a combination out of sensory stimuli and a story and a challenge, woven into it. And there are many different disabilities like mobility impairments, cognitive impairments, hearing impairments, visual impairments, mental health conditions. So the aim of a game is to create a new reality for you in that moment. So it's quite interesting what you can tweak to have a great experience for all. So what is accessibility in games? I already talked about that. It involves designing and implementing features to ensure that everyone can play your game. And the nice thing is, gaming is highly individual, so we can tweak a few things here and there and still have an enjoyable experience for many. So, who has used accessibility features in games before? Okay, I see a few people here. So for the others, you have never used difficulty levels, because difficulty levels give you access to a game. And without having access, you can't play the game. So that's a very easy or very basic accessibility feature that we already use every day. And another part may be Save Anywhere. So I'm not a gamer now, but when I was little, I did play some games. And I remember my mom was screaming at me, "Manuela, now put down the console." And I was like, no, I cannot save. And I have to start the mission all over again if I quit the game now. And there's nothing more tedious than that. So this is definitely also an accessibility feature. Then we have tutorials. So a game without a tutorial might be very hard to understand. And sometimes you miss important ways or tips or tricks to know how to play a game to the fullest. So yeah, tutorials are also things that we already used before, I guess. And probably you can guess already why accessibility in games matters. So first of all, it's good for everyone. We all used accessibility features before. And also 15% of the world population are disabled, actually. So it's a big number, I would say. And it's a group of people that we should not forget about. And also we have a law. In 2025, all newly created digital products need to be accessible. So there's no way around it. People that use your app and can't use it can sue you. So you have to adjust it. If your app is already released, you have until 2023. But I wouldn't wait too long, because accessibility as an afterthought is always expensive. Another part is that accessibility or video games actually are a big market with $282 billion estimated for 2024. For that reason, accessibility is also very important, because it is a market that is growing, and you do not want to exclude anyone. A lot of game studios already think of accessibility, and they have already some examples that we can follow. So for instance, Last of Us. It also won a Game Accessibility Award because it has over 60 amazing accessibility settings, which really puts the standard high. For instance, you can make it so that hostages don't run away. So you, I don't know, kidnap someone and they can't run away. So you can do your like thing. Then there's also Celeste, which has a great assist mode. We're gonna get to what an assist mode is later. But also a good thing is that the assist mode is communicated when you turn it on, because an assist mode will like make the intended mode, it will change the intended game mode, because a game was created by a designer and a developer, and it has a specific challenge and it has a specific story, and it might be changed when you are enabling assist modes. So this is, for instance, the communication of Celeste. They will tell you that it will change the experience, but you can turn it on if the game is otherwise too difficult for you or unplayable even. And the assist mode looks like this. So they have modes where you can adjust the game speed, you can give your character infinite stamina, and it's maybe also invincible, or you have unlimited air dashes. Which is very, very great. If you want to know if your favorite game is accessible, you can check Can I Play That? It's a website where you see accessible reviews of certain games. Now we get to the process of how to make a game accessible. So first of all, we need guidelines, and there is a great guideline on the internet called Game Accessibility Guidelines. And it's a collaborative effort between game studios, game accessibility gurus that tell us what we can do better. And it is split into basic, intermediate, and advanced. So first of all, when you want to make a game, you have to familiarize yourself with the guidelines. So do that before you even design it, because you have to put in some accessibility thoughts behind that. So after that, you evaluate and plan. You check what is relevant to the game, because not everything in the guidelines is obviously relevant to your game. And you can then plan out your features, what you want to work on. Furthermore, you prioritize and schedule. So I would assume that you would prioritize basic accessibility first, which will target many, many people instead of very fine improvements. But one thing is for sure, doing something is better than nothing. So even if it's the most basic feature like levels, add it. Then we're gonna go to the implementation phase. So you have to test prototypes with some disabled players for optimal results. Then also integrate disabled players into your playtesting sessions, because you really want to know if something is a blocker before you release. Then you inform, because I read that a lot of gamers with accessibility needs buy a game, they try to play it, and then they notice, oh, I can't play it. And then I don't know how much a game costs these days, 45 euros, 60 euros, 80 euros, but it's just thrown away money then in that case, and it's just very frustrating, and sometimes you can't even give it back because you started to play that game. So it's very important to highlight key accessibility features, and also talk with those review sites that I just talked about, like Can I Play That, for instance. And in the end, you want to review and learn, because you have to ask your audience for feedback. What can we do better? I don't know, what can we change? What features can we add? So that brings us to my wonderful game, Dash Adventure. And I will go over this game and we talk about potential improvements and how to implement them. Dash Adventure was heavily inspired by Flappy Bird, but it's not Flappy Bird, it's Dash Adventure. So I just changed the name and changed the icon. This game is created in Flame and, of course, Flutter. And for those of you that don't know the gameplay mechanics are, you are Dash and you try to navigate Dash through a series of pipes until you hit a pipe or the ground. And the controls are that you tap a screen to make the bird fly and ascend, or you don't tap and the bird will fall down with the gravity. Scoring is done by flying through each pipes, then you get a point. So this is how it looks. So that also brings us to our first problem. I played that game. Game is too hard to play. That's actually an accessibility problem, and we can easily mitigate that with customizable difficulty levels, as I talked about before. So the most basic way is to have basic, easy, medium, and hard levels for a game. But that might be too easy for some people. If you have easy mode and you can play the game very easily, but medium is a little bit too difficult for you because there's one certain thing that you need to have adjusted, that's a little bit unfortunate. So we have to give some ways to customize our levels and our difficulties. And also one important thing is level names shouldn't be derogatory. Because imagine you had a bad day at work and you're gonna sit down at your PC or whatever, your console, and you turn on your game and you want an easy mode. And then the easy mode is called, can I play Daddy? Very easy difficulty for the spineless gamer. That's super mean, super derogatory, and it's just easier to say there are like the default mode, easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, brutal. That's much nicer, and you can be still creative, but just not mean. So we saw this screen before. This is Celeste, and as I said, Celeste gives you more variables that you can adjust for a customizable experience, so everyone can play the game and it's still difficult for them, because you don't want it to be so easy that somebody can breeze through the game. And also remember that the easiest mode might be hard for someone. Probably me. So, also if you have some difficulty levels or you change some like fine variables, please communicate that the intended experience may change, because some games are known for being very hard, and then some player might stumble into your settings and adjust something, and it asks themselves, why is this game so easy? And that would be a little bit sad. So our challenge with the difficulty level is that the pipes are coming from the bottom and the top, and it's hard to navigate. Then tap on the bird is too weak or too hard, and the pipes have a too narrow space to navigate through. So the idea is that we could have some customizable settings for our pipes, and also that we could adjust the dash if it's flying harder or if the gravity gets stronger. So to be able to adjust the difficulty level, we need a settings page, and Flame makes it quite easy for us to use overlays. So in the main game widget, I use an overlay builder map and can add my settings page so it's easily accessible. And I actually want to make the user customize quite a few things for the game. So for instance, game speed, jump height, gravity, and so on. Also, we can fine-tune different parameters and create dedicated difficulty levels. So those are my custom or not custom, those are the default difficulty levels, like easy mode, intermediate, or hard. And this is how the settings look in the end. So they are quite extensive. So the user can really customize their experience. Another thing, if the game is too hard, is aim assist. And aim assist helps people with motor disabilities to be able to play the game. In a shooter, for instance, it can point to your enemies automatically, and that also makes it a little bit controversial in multiplayer games. But we're gonna get there later, what we can do about that. And the good thing is it also helps the not so seasoned gamer who just wants to have a nice time playing a game. So for me, I played with the aim assist and I was pretty happy because I managed to score 16 points. But yeah, so there are two different types of aim assist. One is partial and one is full. One example for this is Mario Kart 8. It has smart steering and auto accelerate. edit. And there was a nice story on Reddit about a 4-year-old with a stroke. She's usually just sitting next to her family, but with this new game, with this new feature, she can actually hold the controller and kind of play with her family, which is all we want, right? So this parent is describing that the child is sitting, giggling with the others on the sofa, and I think that's the experience all game developers want to give their users. So, for aim assist, the challenge is aiming between the pipes is too difficult with the dash. So we have to open the space of the pipe a little when the user is flying through it. There are also other ways of doing that. You could, for instance, I don't know, change a little bit the space, like of the pipes, that the pipes itself are moving a little bit on the height of the bird, but I think that would be a little bit confusing. So I decided on opening up the pipes a little bit. So I called the space between the pipes point zone. So we can easily create this assist by checking when a player collides with a point zone and add a callback. So the point zone class implements the collision callbacks mix-in of flame. So we can basically detect when dash has first touched its point zone. And when that happens, we call the on-collision start callback, which then adjusts the height of the point zone and position of both pipes according to the offset value. So how does that look? And it's, by the way, all me playing, so I'm always very happy when I can score some points. And you see, I'm already better than the first time around. So another part is the default input is unusable. So a controller has one function, and it's to enable the user to interact with the game. And usually a controller is one size fits all if you think of PlayStation or Xbox, I don't know. And there's not much customization going on there. So how does controlling work for people that might need some different controllers? There is this Xbox assistive controller that I also have here. So if somebody wants to try it out later, feel free to come by and we can check out how the game works with this. But those controllers can be sometimes costly, and sometimes people are also creating them by themselves. And the nice thing is there's the controller project. So who in here has a 3D printer? Okay, actually, this controller project has over hundreds of files of controllers, and you could print them for people that need them. And if you want to do a good deed this year, contact the controller project and print some cool controllers that are accessible for some people. So now back to remapping controls. So remapping controls is already very common in computer games because of different keyboards, but it is rare in consoles. And basically, I implemented that for our Dash adventure. So the challenge is tapping on the screen or a button on the device isn't possible. So we have to remap the game functions to other buttons in settings. So I wrote this code, and this class represents the keys we want to handle in our app. And it enables us to map the game functions to a key on different controllers. So now let's get to the remapping. So we want to show the user which controllers are available and also keep a track of which was the last controller key that was pressed. For that, there's a simple qubit. And in the UI, it basically looks like this. So you press the button, then you click on the device and on the device button, and then it basically gets remapped. Then, of course, the bird has to fly now that we changed the action button. So to detect key presses, we can create a simple controller that listens to all controller events that passed them to our handler. And to be able to respond to the actions, we can create a gamepad handler which will call the appropriate callbacks based on which keys get matched. Basically, we also want to pass the saved gamepad settings to it so that we can take into consideration how the user wants them to be mapped. So in this case, we only have one button to be remapped, and that's the action button for the game. So last but not least, we want to use our controller inside the game and perform the user jump when the action button is pressed. And basically that's the code for it. Another issue is the game view can't be perceived. For some people, the game view is not perceivable, usually blind people. And even a blind person can actually play a video game. That's super interesting because they will use audio and haptic indications. So for instance, the controller is vibrating, or you get some audio input or output that tells you, hey, you're falling off a cliff or something. So in our case, the challenge is the user that has low visibility may not be able to see when hitting the ground or the pipes. And the idea is to give a haptic or audible cue to the user so they are warned that they're about to lose the game. And to implement audio assist, we simply need to perform a check every time interval for the player position in correspondence with the next point zone. So basically, I have different sounds for the above pipe, the below pipe, and the between pipe. So if you're between a pipe, it will have a sound that will tell you, okay, you're on the right way here. And also, the sound will increase when you get closer to the point zone. That means the space between the pipes. When it comes to vibration, you should definitely take into account that some people have joint pains, and when the vibration is per default always on, it is not a good thing. So definitely give some customization there. I did not implement vibration, but if you would like to implement vibrations, you can use the vibration package for mobile or some other packages for Windows to handle them. The next thing is audio cues can't be perceived. So somebody who might be hard of hearing. Then we can basically give a visual cue. So a good idea is, if you're a game developer, to play your game on mute and check out, is the game still playable? Because there are some games where basically an attacker says something before they attack and you can't see them before that. And that would be unplayable for someone who cannot hear those cues. How we can do that is to basically give some visual feedback. For instance, in this game, when a sound is coming from the telephone box, you see those circles around the on the telephone box. So it's a little bit easier for the user to understand. And the challenge in our game is the user can't hear important audio cues, and the idea is to add a visual cue to represent sound. So this is now a little bit made to fit, because in Flappy Bird you can play it without sound. It's fine. But if you want to see the bird jump up, then you could add some, particles that are getting less and less, and basically show audio like that. Also, there is some audio for the points that you can get. Also maybe some people can notice some issues for people with color vision impairment. So of course, always please also check the colors of your game, because otherwise people might not be able to differentiate. So it's better to work with forms than with color. So as you can see, it's all about settings or personalization, actually. And if you allow turning on and off a lot of parameters for your game, it is much better for everyone. Just the only thing, communicated with your users. that it will change your intended gameplay. And now we come to some common worries people have when it comes to accessibility. So a lot of people might be worried that, people use accessibility settings to have better chances in winning multiplayer games. So that points to the aim assist. But one thing you could do is having matchmaking preferences. So you could set, hey, if I have auto-aim enabled, or if I don't have auto-aim enabled, I don't want to play with someone who has auto-aim enabled because I want to have, I don't know, an equal match or something. Another topic is worried that people use accessibility settings to be high on leaderboards. It's also an easy fix. You can create another leaderboard, or you can create an icon for people that have turned on their accessibility settings, because there's also some discussion going on. If you give a lot of customization, would you have then a leaderboard for all customization or just for like general accessibility? But yeah. If you create an icon or something, that can be also helping already. Then some people are worried that the game will be watered down. So that's again pointing to the fact that you should talk to your players that the intended gameplay will change if you change anything of the difficulty settings. Last but not least, the community of disabled gamers. It's super big and passionate. I checked Reddit, disabled gamers, and honestly, it's crazy what they showing us. They have so many customizable controllers. So one person, for instance, can only move, I don't know, the left arm and maybe the left foot, and makes a custom controller with which they can play. So if a gamer wants to play a game, they will try to play the game. So that's quite cool, and I think we should honor that and really, enable those people to play a game. So I think we have still some time. So if you would be up for it, you could try and play the game now. Who wants to play the game blindfolded? Yeah? Whoever wants to come up on stage? Mm-hmm. All right. It's gonna be a little bit difficult because only the player can see it, or we're gonna, you know what? We're gonna do, we're gonna add it. Okay, it will take now 10 minutes until I navigate to this to the slide actually. Where's even the mouse? Just this one. True. So, you wanna play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we play blindfolded? Yeah.
Blindfolded, I have actually. So I was in Flutter Ninjas, and I actually had a premium economy flight, and that's where I got those. So I'm always flexing that. Oh, I had a premium economy flight. So you can click on the settings. It's such a shame that I can't show you, but you all just come over later. So we have here the gameplay, and we can first of all auto open pipes. That's great. Then the audio guidance. So play it first without with your eyesight, because you have to know what kind of sounds are coming.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can we get the okay, we can get it, but it's still okay. Now Okay, you try. You already get set up with it.
Okay.
Ah, okay. Now it's there. Is it on this side? Because I have this extension that will snap. Do you even see it?
No.
Mm.
Maybe it's
you
on
can
top.
mirror it instead of.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, yeah.
Yes. So, please play now.
It's big.
Yeah. Okay, you have to lose at some point because you have to blindfold you.
Okay. Okay, so
Okay.
am I
Yes.
aimed on the track?
You
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's not that easy to play that game. Flappy Bird or Dash Adventure is harder than you think. So also maybe I can show it also now. Let's hope the Bluetooth is connected currently. Let me check. All right, adaptive controller. Are you on, little controller? Yes. So you can also remap your controls here. So you see I have an unknown device here and an Xbox adaptive controller as a detected gamepad. And I can basically remap the button to perform an action. So for now it's the A button, now it's the A circle. And that can help potentially users, to play your game better. And now, if I would play it, I could play it like this with this controller, basically. No. Yeah. So basically, I'm a very bad gamer, as you can see. Yeah. Actually, I'm already done with my talk. So if you want to play some more, you can come over here. Or if you have some kind of questions, feel free to ask them now or find me somewhere. I'm wearing green.